Hey everyone! Me, Irina, and Stars About Stars are greeting you, the first astrology-based matchmaking show for love and career seekers. And today in studio we have a very special guest, very beautiful inside and outside. You'll see Miss Peru International 2006, Maria CYNTHIA MCKENNA. Hi. I'm sorry. I think that I did huge mistake. CYNTHIA Maria MCKENNA.
CYNTHIA Maria MCKENNA.
Yes.
You got that right.
You can see that I'm from Europe, because we don't have that double name.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that is not the name that I was born with. I have like 5 to 6 different, I'm not going to get into that, but that's the Latino name. We have like large names.
So I hope that it wasn't that a great mistake if you have 5 or 6. Okay, what is your preference? You prefer me to call you Cynthia, correct?
Yes, Cynthia, it's perfect.
Okay, great. So Cynthia, you have a very special profession, I would tell, not only title. You're dating coach for men. Is it true?
That is correct. I'm a dating and life coach for men.
Okay, so hopefully today we will find out how you came there, and it's very interesting for us because you're the only person in this studio who knows what's happening in the minds of men.
Absolutely, I like to say so. It's been many years doing this, so.
Okay, great. So the first basic question is, you were born October 4th, 1984 in Lima, Peru. Correct?
Yes.
Great. So the main birth number is 4, that symbolize empire. Person who can structurize the life very seriously, and it's some kind of establishment of boundaries and rules in the family, some kind of traditions. Does it relate? Is it true?
Yes, absolutely. And even so, as the oldest child, I was like the second parent figure for my younger sibling. So yeah, I would say so. Structure, family means a lot to me. So absolutely.
Do you have any kinds of traditions that you created yourself in your own family?
I love making memories. That is such an important thing for me. I feel like I connect with my children through memories that I make, not only with my children, but with my friends, with my family members, my mom, dad. I like to make memories through an experience. I love travels. I love doing that. So it's a tradition, kind of like getting together, the whole family, at least once a year with everybody.
All generations together.
All generations together. I love that tradition. And also just every time I get a chance with kids when they're off of school, I always try to plan a trip where I can actually build memories with them instead of any summer camps or any camps, because we work a lot. So I like to, when they're off, I like to make memories with them. I'll say that's become quite a tradition in the last few years.
There is a list to do. And do you have some kind of list not to do in your family? For example, you understand, not from your kids, not from your potential partner, you would never accept this, this, and that.
I don't accept lack of respect. I feel like respect is kind of a big deal. I grew up in a very structured, strict family. So respecting the elderly was big for me back in the day. I would say that's one of my core values as well. I don't tolerate someone raising their voice at me or really just mistreating me, or I get actually it really triggers me, and I know that about myself. So I try to communicate when that's something that I would absolutely not tolerate, so they know that about myself when I'm dating, because it's important for them to know, because how will they know?
Definitely. We always have to talk and to discuss everything around. As a communication expert, can you give me some advice or how to set up personal boundaries in love relationship, or do we need them at all?
Oh, boundaries are absolutely necessary. I encourage even my kids sometimes. I give them, discipline is very important, but I give them some room for them to even set boundaries with us, because just because I'm the mom, sometimes I can be wrong, and it's okay to apologize to the kids when I kind of say something I should have not said. For example, in relationships, when I coach my clients, my men, I call them my men.
That's so nice.
So I always tell them, even with women, it's important to voice their boundaries in a very respectful way so they are aware how not to cross them and how to treat you. Because I'm a huge believer that we teach people how to treat us. And how will they know how to treat us if we don't communicate, how that sounds like? Hey, listen, I understand you're frustrated right now. I don't tolerate, or I don't do well when someone is screaming at me. So I suggest we take a break. We just kind of go for a walk, self-regulate, and we can come back with this conversation once we're both kind of in the same page, and we can calmly have this conversation because we're not getting anywhere.
As a dating specialist, do you support blind dates, or you think people have to understand and know each other a little bit upfront?
I think it's a very interesting way to get to know someone, because one thing I've noticed about men, not all of them, but for some, they get so blindsided by how beautiful the woman is.
I understand. I don't know how they deal with you. I think they fall in love with you the first time they see you,
well, I don't always look like this. I'm very professional on my calls. So I'm with my glasses.
I saw you before your work once, okay? I know how you look all the time, any day and night. And
yes, I feel like, the blind dates is kind of interesting because they will have an opportunity to get to know the woman for who she really is, instead of like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty, and kind of just forgetting everything. What do I ask next? And get so focused on what do I have to do for her to like me, instead of like, how am I liking this conversation? How am I liking this woman? Like, what is happening within myself that it makes me feel like I can actually be myself around this person? They get so focused on like, oh my God, what do I say next? Overthink all these things just because they get distracted by how beautiful the woman is, So I think it's a good idea for some people, that, especially men, that get really blindsided by that, to get to know the person really, to then it will be like a nice surprise afterwards, like, oh my God, and she's gorgeous,
So they are magnetized with the beauty, first of all, and of course, sexual attraction. That was the purpose of my show, because first of all, people listen to this podcast and they can fall in love with the soul, with the heart, with the characters and special features, how unique you are. And after, oh my God, she's beautiful, when they see you on YouTube, while watching my show. Okay, so your months of birth demonstrate wheel of fortune, ups and downs in life. What was the biggest fall in your life, and that made you raise up and get stronger?
I had so many episodes in my life that had built me to who I am today. I could mention a lot of them, but I think that's part of my story. And what made me own my story instead of falling victim to it, I would say, was my love for my family. I was born in a very poor family, and they didn't have like the resources to provide for us. Like, they did the best with what they could. But as the older child, I saw their struggle. So, like, I started working since I was 14 because I didn't want to see them struggle. And I became fully responsible for my family at a very young age, which I feel I had to do a lot with my resilience when I confront any type of challenges. Later on, I would say one of the biggest pain I've had to go through and overcome that led me to be a dating and relationship coach for men was my own divorce. It was a very, very painful experience, and just got me to think, instead of like, what can I do with this to help men understand the emotional connection with women, how we think, like the experiences that we have, and all of these things that sometimes they don't know, right? Different experiences throughout how a marriage can change as motherhood changes, and like how to be with us throughout it all. So that's how I came up with this, with the help of others. And I just found like my purpose through that. And I feel is because I have learned how to make out of like unfortunate circumstances the best of it. And I think that's one of the qualities that I love, may say about myself the most.
I know you're a dating coach for men, but what would you recommend women who are listening to you now how to start from zero, from scratch after divorce or huge separation?
You know, after my experience, I feel like after a divorce, women go through a lot of emotional, roller coaster. Like, what do I do? How do I start? It's kind of a start. It's very scary. I remember I was very scared, but I was capable of focusing on what mattered at the moment, which was my kids and how to provide for them the best way I could with what I had. So my suggestion would be take the time to rebuild yourself and your confidence first before you get back into the dating world again. So get to know yourself all over again before you communicate clearly what you're looking for in a man, because I believe after a divorce, we're not clear with that. That's really foggy, kind of like we don't know what that looks like. And we're not capable of seeing what we're really worth until we really can be able to provide that for ourselves and believe that we deserve that. Once we get to that point, then we become capable of communicating that to a man when we're dating them, and kind of like testing that on the person that they're with. Because there's a lot of men that are very good. I've coached a lot of them, and they just sometimes need to learn how to communicate or just get out of their confidence zone to be able to share and be vulnerable with a woman.
So loneliness is a healer. And I can see through your horoscope that actually being so much structurized, you can be very fun and easygoing. Tell me about that side. How fast do you take decisions in life?
I do believe I'm very easygoing, which kind of sometimes when you combine it with a lack of boundaries could be a problem because then you're the one that is always accommodating,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, whatever you want. And I fell into that category back in the days. One of the things that I had to learn about myself, because I had the right also to take space. I had the right also to kind of communicate what my needs were and not constantly seeking to please everybody around me, which was a challenge at the beginning. And it felt weird, to be honest with you, and once I got used to setting boundaries and being okay with wanting certain things for myself, then I just slowly got used to it, It's still a work in progress, but I feel like self-awareness is such a big deal at the beginning to understand your needs and wants, because we can't communicate what we don't know about us,
Definitely. I can see through stars that you're a very creative person. Tell me more about your hobbies, a special talent and gift.
Oh, well, I've been told that a lot because I'm a Libra and we're known for creativity. So I have a huge passion for art, any type of art. The only art that I'm not good at is the culinary art because I don't cook.
You don't?
I mean, I cook, but it's not like something that I will get out of my way to do.
No, my question was because you have two kids, so probably, being a mother, anyway, you cook. You want it or not.
Yeah, but it's not something that I like, oh my God, I just kind of see women like really enjoy it. I do it because of course I have to, but it's not something that I will spend hours, I'm going to do this recipe.
Okay, I have to interrupt you. It was a very important question for our man who already fell in love with you. If your man who's listening to you now and he said, okay, I would love to meet that girl and I would love to invite you here next door to Peruvian restaurant, would you go?
I love to eat, don't get me wrong. I love to eat.
But no, Peruvian restaurant.
Peruvian restaurant.
You love your food?
Oh my God, that is the number one thing.
I heard your culture is great.
It is. That's one of the things that everybody assumes about me because I'm Peruvian, that I'm a good cook because our food is so amazing. I can cook. It's just not something that I enjoy. Like, for example, other aspects of it. Like, I love painting and drawing. It gives me, that's a way for me to, that's a way of me to decompress. Just because I'm not thinking about anything else, then the next lie I'm going to draw. And once I finish drawing, like I feel like a huge weight comes on my shoulders. And it's just so therapeutic to me, that I love singing in the shower.
Your planet of love, that is Venus, is in conjunction with Saturn. That is structured, responsible, strict figure. So probably it's your husband. Tell me, please, if you meet tomorrow the guy who's going to be ideal for you, all parameters, whatever you want by experience, heart and soul, but he has one condition. For some reason, he doesn't want you to continue your dating experience, providing this service, dating service for men. Would you refuse from that? Or maybe you will rebuild your profession in some other way? You will adapt it? What are you going to do?
I feel like that is a non-negotiable for me, meaning like my career has become, and this in my nature, I've always loved helping people, and this has given me a huge platform to do so. I just today, I spoke to 8 different men from different parts of the world. I do believe that could be a problem for some men, but I just wouldn't date them if that is a problem.
If he's not confident enough, I don't date him.
Pretty much.
Did you hear that, guys?
Pretty much.
How many men could you process, I'm sorry for using that word, per day?
How many? Well, I mean, it depends, because what I love, one of the things that I love about my job, the impact that it makes in men's life. I love when they show me the picture of the ring. They finally propose to the woman of their lives. I love when they share that the woman is finally getting back with them after all these efforts they did in self-development work. Like I can see the impact, but also my job allows me to also be a better mother because I'm raising 2 boys.
Oh, boys, beautiful.
So
I saw one of them. Yeah. It's beautiful eyes.
Oh,
Compliments.
You. Yeah. So they're the loves of my life. And I just see myself one day having to, probably live through their experiences, So it's important to me that the man that I'm with understands this passion of mine of helping men, because I feel like through helping men, I'm also helping women, because women want their men to understand them. Women want, to have that connection.
Yeah, it's impossible, but they want. We want. What would you teach your kids, your boys? What is the most important thing for a woman?
I always try to teach them how, even though they're very young, always everything I say, everything I do with them is thinking, how can I make them good husbands one day?
Oh, can I wait for your boys?
Yeah, little things like, as a single mom, ladies first, open the door for mommy, just because I do believe like how a boy treats their mom or how we raise them is going to treat the woman in their life one day. And I don't know if every woman, but I look at how the man treats their mother, because I feel like that's the way that's the closest feminine, figure. And I believe that's how it's going to treat me eventually, And I teach them just, how to have boundaries, how to have a standards also for the woman they date as well, because I believe a lot of men haven't been, or boys haven't been taught like what do they need in a woman. So you can see, like I was told when I was very young, you need a guy that has a career, you need a guy that treats you well. We have standards. We grew up hearing this. I don't think men know what to look other than she's pretty and she's kind. Oh, she's got a cool job, But then what else is there, right? What are my values? What am I looking like in a woman? Like, I don't know how to go about it. So this is all brand new information for them. So I try to always tell my boys, the woman always makes you a better person. The woman is supposed to make you a better man, support your dreams and be your rock and stuff like that. And sometimes my boys are like, you're crazy, mom. But it's like, I know they listen, deep down, because they're not even thinking about, girls or anything like that. But every word that comes out of my mouth, I feel like is making an impact eventually,
Cynthia, what is your personal attitude to betrayal and how to recover after?
I've never thought about that. Betrayal.
Probably we all had that experience, in a relationship, in friendship, in any type of relationship.
I believe like people fall victim of their circumstances and they feel that they need to go into survival mode to do whatever they can to. So I look at it nowadays, and I think I've had always this, to not hold on to grudges with compassion. This is a person with pain. Of course, it hurts me, makes me upset, and makes me angry. Like sometimes, when these things are directed to me or a family member, but then I fall into my compassion. I trust it and I say, you know what? If I see this person that is a bad person, like it doesn't serve me to keep this anger within myself. When I rely on compassion, that I'm able to not make excuses for the behavior, but I know where it's coming from. It's not related to me. I'm able to separate myself from it. But I don't accept it. That doesn't mean I welcome it into my life. I know when that person shows that, and I know how not give it access to me anymore. But that doesn't mean I hold to grudges and I'm like bad mouthing or anything like that, because that hurts me more than it hurts that person.
I agree. You have a powerful Venus that gives you, through some aspects, huge desire to spend money. You know how to do that. That's what stars say to me. Does it relate? Is it true?
Oh, that I'm a spender, you mean?
Yes, in a good way, as a woman. And let's say Sarah Jessica Parker in Sex and the City, she was buying shoes. What is your favorite gift?
Oh, my favorite gift. I'm so into crystals now. Like and everybody, it's funny because all my friends now give me
up crystals. To diamonds, guys. Up to diamonds.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, more than anything I've learned, I spend, just to answer your question, most of my money in like investments nowadays, because I'm a single mom, but also experiences. Like you'll see me booking a trip and like going to certain, like the experiences have become now. I wasn't like that in my 20s for sure. I was more into like the latest bag and all these things. I love Chanel. That's one of the things.
We all do.
That's one of the things that I adore. Of course, I'm capable of I love fashion, like I love beauty. I will see you and I have no problem telling, oh my God, you're so beautiful. I just wanted to tell you, you're so beautiful. Like I always do that and people think I'm weird. But I just admire beauty in every single sense, in a piece of art, in a beautiful woman. Someone is wearing a nice shirt and I have no problem telling them. I'm always like complimenting. I think it's a big thing for me. Like I don't know how to explain it. I really love complimenting people and making their day just by telling them how beautiful they are, or,
I understand you fully. I'm the same. And the time when I used to live in France, I was doing those compliments to my neighbors or whatever. They were looking at me like I want something from them. No, guys, I just want to give you like beautiful vibe or energy, because I really think it's perfect look. It's amazing. I just underline how beautiful you are. So, and I can see you mentioned that before. That's age 2 years old and 6 years old. It was some kind of strict childhood. Tell me, please, more about your parents, how you were raised up, what is important for you, what kind of values did you get from there?
Mm-hmm.
Respect to adults. Excuse me, you told me already.
Yes, respect. Also, honesty. That's one of the things that I've learned from my family, mom and dad. We were always honest with everything, with people around us. We never, lie to get our way on things. I also grew up with nuns, just to give you like the whole picture of how strict it was, I was raised hardcore Catholic. So I went to a nun school and it was super strict to the point that even, nothing was supposed to show your body. I was covered up. Always you can see my neck up. Like that's how strict, like punctuality was a big deal. You needed to be there at school at time. We were supposed to pray every single day. That's the type of a strictness, kind of. I gotta say though, one of the things that just I felt like it made me kind of cope with that was that it helped me when it came to sports. I was a professional swimmer. So that discipline of being swimming like 2 hours every single day, training and everything, kept me out of trouble when I was a teenager. So all the people that says, yeah, my teenager is this and that, I never experienced that because number one, I was working since I was 14. I had adult problems already. And also I was so focused on like swimming and doing activities after school. I wouldn't get home till 7 sometimes, you know?
You picked up my my question about competitive spirit. You already answered.
Yes, I got it from. And one of the things that I've learned about swimming, I learned I was competitive with myself because it wasn't about beating someone else's time; it was beating your own time.
And do you believe in competition in relationships?
Oh, I believe that kind of. I would understand healthy competition, but at the same time, what's healthy competition? You're in that kind of like if you are encouraging the other person to be better, that's one thing, but not because I need to be better than you, is we're on this together. That becomes, and I think it's a big problem when it comes to marriages. I did more than you. You like sometimes one feels like is carrying the burden more than the other. And that's what becomes an issue. We start resenting the other person for not helping or not being there the way you want them to be. So I believe that as long as there's always going to be disagreements, and one of the keys to healthy relationship is learning how to have those disagreements. Because at the end of the day, the solution is benefiting both of you, not just one or the other. Is for you, because now you're a team. And you're validating each other's points of view, but not because mine needs to be the right one and you need to be wrong, because that's what becomes an issue. Is like, how are we benefiting from the solution we're both presenting, you know?
I think being competitive, it's quite immense energy. And do you see that so many girls now have that competitive spirit? They are just dying to be with that guy. They take it as a goal and they don't care. They just move straight forward. How do you treat those women, and what do you think the basic energy that rule them?
You know, from speaking to all the men when they come with the cases of the woman they're dating, a lot of us come from, you know, things that we need to be self-aware of, you know, our past, our traumas, our triggers, all of that. Otherwise, we feel like there's women that feel like that competitiveness is going to get the guy to look at them and like that type of thing I think you're referring to. But it comes from like, how's your self-esteem? Like, do you need the validation to get a woman like someone else's man in order to feel good about yourself? How is that going to make, like, I feel like there's a lot of lack of self-esteem when it comes to that. I do believe cheating also is very rooted on lack of self-esteem, because I feel unsatisfied with that relationship. I feel unsatisfied with the life. I don't like me in this relationship. So I'm going to seek for a way out. And that becomes kind of like the answer for a lot of women too. Anybody, woman or man, they're seeking to take somebody else's man's or woman is seeking to be unloved because she's taken. You know already the answer.
You mentioned cheating, and what about jealousy and provocation of that when you understand that your partner consciously, unconsciously provokes you, brings you to jealousy?
You know, as long as the person, jealousy could be cultural too. I know in Latin America it's kind of a big deal because even if you're not jealous, people can assume that you don't care. It's kind of like a big deal. We tend to be kind of like jealous in Latin America. But I do believe also it's not about, men are always going to kind of come up to you. Women are always going to come up with like, it's how you set your boundaries and make your relationship be respected. What matters, not being approached, because you're going to be approached all the time. The partner is going to be approached. It's how you handle those approaches to always think, how can I make my relationship be respected at this time?
Do you believe in parallel relationship? I mean, when, for example, I say it as a joke, you're on the market, you have an open heart, you're not taken, as you said, yes, and you're just going for a few dates, trying to understand how much you better, or you believe in love from the first sight when you really understand that's a person for me, and I quit communication with all other potential partners.
That depends on the situation. Because if you are very self-aware of what you want and what you need, and you have done a lot of work on yourself, that could happen. You can actually, this is it. You can know you're going to marry the woman the first day you meet her. But if you're coming out of a divorce, if you're seeking validation somewhere else, like dating becomes a way of getting to know yourself all over again. I always suggest to men that just getting out of a divorce, of a toxic relationship, even to women, get to know yourself through connections, because that's the best way to get to know ourselves. Get to know what women are like these days. Have conversations. Get to know what men, but don't commit to a relationship where you're not ready for one. Because number one, you're leading the person on. And number two, you're giving them expectations, and you might end up in a toxic relationship because you don't really know what you fully want. So it depends, I would say.
Thank you. I can see that it was a powerful period for you, 2022. Your sun was in Scorpio, and actually it's a huge transformation and self-presentation in some new way. What was by that time? What happened?
What do you mean in 2022?
Is when your age was 20, 21, 22 by that time.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, that's what astrology says. That was a huge transformation in your life.
Oh, so wow. Yeah, that I would say it was around I was 20, 21, that I decided that I was going to leave by myself. And I informed my parents that I was going to move to Lima, because back in the day I was living in Chiclayo, like a small town. And I was going to pursue my dreams. I was going to be an actress. My dad wasn't happy with that.
My dad wasn't too. I wanted to be an actress too. You see, we have a lot of things in common.
Yes.
All around love and connection with parents and family.
That is true. Yeah.
Some kind of restrictions too.
Yes, that was a big deal. And then somehow my dad lost his job. So funny enough, my decision that he didn't agree with, I ended up having my whole family living with me because my dad lost his job, and there was a lot of, so I took them all in my house and became the breadwinner of my family fully.
Cynthia, I can see that at the age 27, 29 as well, stars say that it was a huge change and some kind of insight transformation in your life. Does it relate?
I had my first son when I was 26. 26 to 27. And I was always the entrepreneur in my family, always the go-getter, always like the risk taker. Motherhood changed all of that for me. I became more aware of things about myself more than I have ever been. And the feminine side of me that didn't really have when I was, the goal mentality and all these things, really awoke with having my child, because nothing else mattered. So it was a moment that I was also going through postpartum depression that I didn't know of. I learned that later in life because I was crying all the time. It was like a transformation in full mode. And I didn't know, like, I don't even know how I survived that back in the day, not knowing that's what it was. And just motherhood, it changed me in every way. It made me resilient in different ways. Things, I have fears that I never thought I would have. I have love that I've never thought I could be capable. Of course, we love, but the way a mother loves a child, it's hard to explain. I never thought I could love the way I love my boys.
And wouldn't you mind a partner who has his own kids maybe, or he doesn't, and he really wants you to make a nice kid for him? Number 3, would you do that?
I thought about it. I would be open to only one. I also have to be mindful of my age and the point in my career I'm at. It has to be under the right circumstances. It would have to be a very supportive partner for me to do that, because I'm already responsible for 2 kids. I always welcome in the idea to have a step kid, like a stepdaughter, a stepson, Because when I was younger, before I even had the idea to have my own kids, I was always open to adopt. I always wanted to adopt, believe it or not. So I feel like I will love a child that I didn't birth the same way that I love, because I will welcome in. So I think I will be a good step mom.
I'm sure you're very loving and caring.
But thank you. But having another child would be depending on a lot of things. I know what it takes. I know who I become once I have a newborn. Like, the world doesn't matter. My focus becomes, so I need to be under the right circumstances in order to be able to make that happen,
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends.
And would you go for official marriage, or you would prefer just to live quietly together? You're okay?
I would definitely love to experience a good marriage and to have, I believe that is the foundation of society, family.
Yeah.
And I do believe that time is going to come for me when I can have that healthy marriage with whatever the circumstances are. But marriage is such an important concept for me, and I have so much respect for that,
Tell us, please, this little secret, if your clients really fell in love with you. Without names, of course. I know that you're very respectful.
Well, they have admiration for what I do, but there's a level of respect that I'm the coach. I've never really had that, nobody saying or insinuating anything other than always, Coach Cynthia, this is happening, Coach Cynthia. And most men that come to me usually come when they already they have a relationship that didn't work out, and they need help of how to get her back, or like how to understand her. So they usually, most of the time, they have a woman that motivated the call.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So it never happened. I've had a lot of admiration. You've changed my life. That's amazing. All these things, but there's always like Coach Cynthia kind of respect,
That's great. I work mostly with love seekers and career seekers who are really start-uppers, that have dreams and they try to understand what they want in life. Mostly your clients are people who are already into relationships and they want to improve them or fix them.
Most of them, or some of them, they didn't have time to have a relationship because they were career oriented, and they found themselves not knowing how to talk to women, what to say to women, or anything like that. So I've had cases like that as well. My youngest client has been 17. His mom book call, which I thought is so smart. And my oldest has been 89.
That's nice.
So I have a range.
89, you can meet that only in Boca Raton. Never enough.
That's funny. Yeah.
Falling in love again, like in that song. Okay, and tell me, please, you have very special profession, I would say. Compliments, really. It's incredible. It's spiritual, it's energetic, it's a lot of things happening around. And what is your personal goal, your personal challenge for 2023?
Oh, wow. Where do I start? I just hit over 100,000 subscriptions in YouTube. So that's been quite an accomplishment already from all my subscribers. I would like to continue changing men's life, focusing on mental health for men, that I feel like we haven't really focused on that as much. I think with women, we are more open to talk about our mental health, our relationship problems. We're more open with each other that way. I feel like men keep a lot of things to themselves, and mental health has become such a big thing in the men community. My goal is to be able to now spread the word. So it kind of this year becomes more of like, how can we help and being curious instead of judgmental of why, things happen a certain way. Can't reveal too many things. I have 2 different things that I'm working on, but I do believe that there's certain things that I want to keep to myself until they become real, and I can actually tell you. Probably I have to come back.
That's what I wanted to say. You just got. You definitely have to come back because you're beautiful from all sides, and I think You can be my guest million times as a love seeker, but I wish you love. Okay, next time, please come back as a career seeker. You know, to get more and more followers. And now, at the end, please tell us how to find you for those who already fell in love with Cynthia.
Well, I mean, with my business, you mean?
Anything. What is your social media?
So you can find me on Instagram at coach.cynthia.maria. And on YouTube, just Coach Cynthia Maria. You can just Google me, Coach Cynthia Maria, and it will pop up. And my email address for any contact information is contact@cynthiamaria.com. Any questions you may have, anything in particular that you would like to share with me, please do so. On Facebook also, Coach Cynthia Maria. So it's pretty just basic. Just Google me.
That's a good answer. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody who was listening to us. And please subscribe and follow us in YouTube, in Twitter, in Facebook, and Instagram, starsabouttstars.com, and find your destiny on air. With love, Irina.